Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of my Broken Clavicle Recovery Diary. As ever, if you want to skip the introduction, go to the description, click on the timestamp and you'll jump right past this. It's now been 7 weeks since I came off my bike. Last week I went to the hospital and they gave me the all clear, which I am delighted about. They said I don't need surgery and that my range of motion is, to quote them, amazing. And the only reason I bring that part up is, to me, it stands as a bit of proof that maybe what I was doing with my yoga practice was helping the body. There's no real empirical data for me to go on in this. I just had to feel my way through this and decide what was right in my condition. So to get that kind of validation from the doctor and being told that the way my shoulder was moving at this point in time was really impressive, that was a sign to me that what I'd been doing on the mat every morning had had a positive effect on my recovery. Anyway, Surya Namaskara, that's what we're looking at today. Surya Namaskara are a short sequence of postures you'll find at the start of pretty much any yoga practice you'll ever go to. Occasionally you don't do it, but almost always you start with Surya Namaskara. It's kind of like a flow. You inhale up, you exhale down, you inhale out, you exhale back. And it was one of the first things I realised I wasn't going to be able to do when I came off my bike. A lot of it involves arms up over the head. That was impossible for me. Plank kind of positions, impossible. Upward dogs or cobras, going back to downward dogs, all this stuff was like, nah, can't do that. So I just assumed Surya Namaskara wasn't going to be happening for the next month or two. Then my friend Emma, who runs the Mysore program at Meadowlark Yoga in Edinburgh, sent me a video on Instagram of a guy doing Surya Namaskara with a sling on. He'd bust his arm. It was a different injury, but he still did it. And it gave me hope that maybe I could modify Surya Namaskara for myself, and it was a bit of a goal of mine to figure out a variation that worked for me in my physical condition. So that's what I've been doing for the last however many weeks. The reason I'm not quite sure how many weeks is because I didn't do it for the first 2 weeks. I didn't do any Surya Namaskara for the first 2 weeks. For the first 2 weeks it was just joint movements from episode 2 straight into the asana from episode 3. After 2 weeks I introduced Surya Namaskara in between those two, like the sandwich. So it was joint movements, Surya Namaskara, asana. And I introduced it slowly. I've tried to emulate in the video today just how ugly it looked. So when I first started doing it, it was clunky and really awkward, and it stayed that way for a couple of weeks. Then I moved into a new phase where it felt a little more accessible, and then I moved into the third phase, which I think I'm in right now, where it feels better. It's not 100%. I still have to do certain things to compensate for my broken ribs, which actually cause me more problems than my clavicle does now, in all honesty. But it's improving all the time and it's changing all the time. So hopefully you get something out of this video. I hope you enjoy watching it. If you're wanting to try and chain them together, I would say watch the joint movements episode 2, then watch this one if you're ready to do Surya Namaskara, and then you go into the asana of episode 3. Okay, hope you enjoy it. Catch ya. For the first 2 weeks of Surya Namaskara, I would lift the arms up to the sides to begin with at 45 degrees, looks higher than it is, and then bringing my fingertips to rest very lightly on the floor to protect the shoulder, stepping back, both legs now at 90 degrees at the knee. Taking my time to set up onto all fours, I would pass through one round of tiger breathing, inhaling looking to the ceiling, exhaling and looking in towards the navel, and then stepping the right foot forward, not much weight through the hands, taking my time being mindful of the ribs and the clavicle, inhaling back up, lifting the arms to 45 degrees and lowering them down. That's the right side done. Left side, same thing, arms up to the sides at 45 degrees, hands to the floor, resting the fingertips. Stepping left foot back, you'll see my left hand came up off the floor there, a slightly awkward compensation for the pain in my broken ribs. With the inhale, you'll see there's not much movement in the back, as my body was incredibly tight to begin with after the accident. Stepping the foot forward, once again the hand lifts away from the floor to give it space to pass through. Notice when I step forward I'm keeping my bum back a little bit to stop myself from loading weight through the hands, protecting the shoulder, and then inhaling, lifting the arms up to the sides at 45 degrees, and then down. For the next round of Surya Namaskara, I would take the arms straight out ahead at 45 degrees, meaning I was doing 4 Surya Namaskara a day. Arms up to the side twice, arms out ahead twice. The actual body of the Surya Namaskara remains unchanged. I'm doing tiger breathing, 1 breath inhale, 1 breath exhale, and then I step forward, right side to begin with, and then left, Stepping forward but keeping my weight slightly backwards, out of the hands and therefore the shoulder. Inhaling, lifting the hands straight up ahead, and then reversing that back down again. Moving on to the left side. When I say left side, I mean the left leg goes back first and it comes forward first. That's the only difference. You see the left leg goes back. My hand's still rising up off the ground as a compensation. Taking my time to set up on all fours for tiger breathing, making sure I wasn't dumping weight through the sore shoulder. Not much movement in the back, very tight after the accident. Left leg forward, both knees at 90 degrees. Taking my arms up ahead of me as I inhale and rise. And this is how it looked for the first couple of weeks. After a fortnight, I could take my arms higher to 90 degrees now, lifting my head to the ceiling. Hands to the floor. See that right leg go back a little further, opening up the hip flexor. It means there's more rearranging for tiger breathing, but it afforded me more opening through the front of the body. Taking that extra time to set the left leg back now. Exhaling forward. Taking the arms up to the sides in 90 degrees, looking up to the ceiling. Right side done. And now left side. Notice how far the leg goes back compared to stage 1. No longer 90 degrees on the back leg. It means I have to take longer to set up for tiger breathing. So it felt a little less smooth in some ways, but it meant I could open out the hip flexor more. See how I have to set up that back leg, take it out further behind me, and then taking it forward. Finishing off by bringing the arms up at 90 degrees now. Moving into taking the arms straight out ahead at 90 degrees, this would be the third Surya Namaskara of the day. Right leg back, pointing the toes out behind me now. Not dumping weight through the hands. Rearranging for tiger breathing. Matching the movement and the breath. The whole movement lasts the whole duration of the breath, trying to keep it smooth. Difficult when I had pain in the abdomen. Arms straight out ahead at 90 degrees, more activation through the core, bring the arms up ahead like this. Moving into the left side. The beginning is the same, but now the left leg goes back first. Opening out the hip flexor, trying to lift the chest up a little and look ahead. Then coming onto all fours. A bit messy, but more evolved than my first version of Surya Namaskara in stage 1. Left leg forward now, opening the chest, pointing the right toes out behind me. Rising up, arms ahead, looking up to the ceiling to give my neck a little opening. And then the third stage, I bring my arms right up above my head. Don't forget, it took me about 6 weeks to reach this stage where I could do that comfortably. A nice long step back, pointing the toes out behind me. I still have this awkwardness when I have to bring that leg forward into tiger breathing. It's one of the areas where it doesn't feel so smooth. And you'll see that when I bring my right leg forward, the left leg has to shuffle back some, and I'm lifting my right hand up to give my leg space to come through. Drawing the hands up through the sides of the body, above the head, and back down via the sides. When raising my arms, I was trying to pay attention to any imbalance that might be occurring through the back, such as the left shoulder rising higher than the right. Long step back with the left leg first this time. Making my way onto all fours. Dropping the back as I inhale and look up to the ceiling, still somewhat uncomfortable because of the broken ribs. As I step forward, I'm opening the chest, looking ahead the best I can. Lifting the arms up through the sides, up above the head to the ceiling, and then reversing that, taking them back down through the sides. And then the arms come up ahead of me for the next round. Straight up ahead and then straight down, activating the core as I do so, stepping back, pointing the toes out behind me. Trying to bring as much movement into the spine, which is still stiff. Right leg forward to begin with, opening the chest the best I can, and then folding in, trying not to squash the ribs too much, and drawing the arms up straight out ahead of me, up to the ceiling, and then exhaling, reversing that back down. Last one, arms straight up ahead, looking to the thumbs, and with the exhale, folding forward, trying to keep the weight out of my hands. Stepping out behind, opening the chest, onto all fours. This is essentially what my Surya Namaskara looks like at the moment. I'm approaching week 8. I'm feeling stronger every day and it's changing every day. But what you're watching right now is effectively my Surya Namaskara 2 months after breaking my collarbone. Arms in line with the ears, palms pressed together, looking up to the ceiling, and taking them back down to the sides of the body. So there you have it, the evolution of my Surya Namaskara over the last couple of months since my bicycle accident. I'm hoping these videos can serve as some kind of inspiration for yogis out there who have maybe hurt themselves in some way and are unsure of how to continue practicing. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave them, get in touch with me. There's an email address you can find in the description too. I've heard from some of you and it's great to know that these videos are of help to people out there in the real world. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.